Hello friends, welcome back to Pharma Biomed. Do watch the video, subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get the notifications whenever I post the videos. Thank you one and all. Let us move on to the next tutorial. Let us discuss about hyperinflammation and hypoxia in COVID-19. So there is a lot of confusion between mild to the moderate COVID-19 as well as at the severe stage. We are going to observe hyperinflammation as well as hypoxia. So at the end of this session, we have to be familiar about what are the reasons behind this inflammation and hypoxia in severely affected COVID-19 patients. So as we know already, there is an interaction between SARS-CoV-2 with the human angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors. So this binding is prerequisite for the viral entry into the host cell. Now we should understand where these ACE2 receptors are present. ACE2 receptors are located in the type 2 alveolar cells of lungs, endothelial cells in the blood vessels, hepatocytes in the liver, kidney, as well as gastrointestinal cells. As SARS-CoV-2 is efficiently binding to the alveolar ACE2 receptor cells, this will be the prerequisite for the viral entry into the host cell. Before going into the details, we have to understand a preliminary anatomy about the alveolar structures as well as the lungs. So this is a sketch diagram of lungs. So the structure of the lung is always resembles like a structure of a tree, which is going to have so many branches, and at the end of the branches you are going to have many leaves. These leaves are nothing but you can just simulate like alveoli. So here you can see the larynx, then trachea, then these are all bronchioles, and at the end of bronchioles you have a small red colored lobe-shaped structures are there. These are alveoli. So the ACE2 receptors that are present on the alveoli is the site of entry of SARS-CoV-2. Now moving on to the alveoli. In a healthy alveoli, before any infection, what exactly happens at the site of alveoli? So there is an exchange of gases. Oxygen is coming in and CO2 is going out, so that the deoxygenated blood that is coming towards the vicinity of the alveoli is taking up the oxygen, and it is getting converted into the oxygenated blood and reaches towards the circulation. So this is a general process that is going to happen. Once the virus enters into the alveoli, what happens? Our immune system will recognize this virus as a foreign entity and it starts to produce immune responses. What is the immune response? Here, inflammation is the immune response. What do you mean by inflammation? Actually, inflammation is a protective response. In the inflammation, the first thing is vasodilation occurs. That means expansion of the site of infection. Once the vasodilation occurs, there is an accumulation of body fluids to the site of infection. So why these fluids are accumulated means, so these fluids will reduce the toxicity of the toxins that are released by the pathogenic microorganism. Thereby, they give us protection. Once there is an accumulation of body fluids, along with the body fluids, there are accumulation of many more immune cells. What these immune cells will do, they induce so many phenomena. For example, phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? Phagocytosis means engulfing, eating bacteria, eating virus. By that, these immune cells will protect us against these pathogenic microorganisms. So this is a general process. But what happens in severely affected COVID-19 patients because of high expression of ACE2 receptors, high efficient binding of SARS-CoV-2 against the ACE2 receptors of these alveoli, which imbalances our immune system, which misregulates our immune system. So there is a lot of generation of stimuli and lot of accumulation of immune cells in the vicinity of the alveoli, which starts to produce inflammation mediators. They causes high level of inflammation between the steny space that is present at the surface of alveoli to this vascular surfaces. So here you can see the yellow colored layer. This is nothing but the inflammation. So here Now, because of this inflammation, which hinders the gaseous exchange between alveoli to the external surface. So when there is a reduction in the that gaseous exchange, slowly it causes decrease in the concentration of oxygen in the blood, which is called as hypoxia. So when this hypoxia will be controlled when the inflammation is going off, when there is a reduction in the viral load, automatically the inflammation will goes off. Then again there is a re-establishment of the exchange of the gases, which causes again increase in the oxygen concentration. So till that time, the patient has to be maintained on the ventilator and he has to be supplemented with the oxygen artificially. So whenever you are pumping the oxygen, again you have to be very careful. Why? Because so when this you are considering as an alveoli, so alveoli, because of the accumulation of various body fluids, the volume of the alveoli has been increased and it is taking up the oxygen, and again the CO2 is going out, right? So in this process, because of the inflammation, even CO2 also cannot come out of this alveoli properly, because so much of inflammation is there between the tissues, between the interstitial spaces and within the alveoli also. So a lot of shear stress will be generated. So to compensate that, whatever the amount of oxygen you are pumping into the alveoli, the pressure of the oxygen has to be taken care. How much amount of oxygen you are pumping, at the same time, at what pressure you are pumping the oxygen into the alveoli. That has to be monitored in the patient who is on the ventilator. So these are some critical points during the progression of the infection. Now coming to the few more points at the initial stage of infection. So at the initial stage of infection, the first thing is accumulation of monocytes. Monocytes are a group of immune cells which are going to induce macrophages. So here you can see macrophages. So what is the role of macrophages? Macrophages causes phagocytosis. So phagocytosis means engulfing that virus particle, which is a solid particle. So there is an accumulation of monocytes and macrophages. Further, there is recruitment of these neutrophils, recruitment of these T lymphocytes. Meanwhile, what these macrophages will do, the overactive macrophages will stimulate the production of or accumulation of inflammatory mediators such as tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin 1 and interleukin 6. These are nothing but cytokines. Nowadays, so much of discussion is going on these cytokines. What are cytokines? Cytokinins are inflammatory substances. There are many classes of these cytokinins are there. Pro-inflammatory cytokinins, they will induce the inflammation. And there are another group of cytokinins which can prevent the inflammation. So these IL-1, IL-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha are pro-inflammatory mediators. That means they induce the inflammation. So here you can see the inflammation that is in yellow color because of these pro-inflammatory mediators. So this is all going to happen at the initial stage of infection. If the patient is properly monitored till the infection, this inflammation is going off, if he is having sufficient oxygen in the blood, then slowly this inflammation will go off. And again, there is a re-establishment of gaseous exchange so that the oxygen concentration comes to the normal state without affecting the lung tissue. Then coming to the advanced stage or final stage of lung infection, what happens is here, there is an influx of monocytes. You have many more monocytes here, you can see. And apart from the monocytes, there is an influx of neutrophils. Then monocytes will activate macrophages. Macrophages will synthesize a group of cytokinins, which is nothing but cytokine storm, whatever you are calling now. So this cytokine storm is because of the induction of IL-6, IL-8, IL-10, tumor necrosis factor, CXCL10, as well as interleukin 1 RA. So these are all comprises of cytokinin storm. And because of high inflammation, there is a thickening of this interstitial space, which leads to pulmonary edema. You are getting pulmonary edema. This is indicated in green color. Now, the clotting factors are also initiated to produce the blood clots or thrombi. So all these will lead to the obstacle in the gaseous exchange, which further decreases oxygen concentration in the blood, which leads to hypoxia. Then we can conclude whatever we discussed till now, like high levels of inflammatory markers such as C-reactive proteins and D-dimers are present in the severely affected COVID-19 patients. What is this C-reactive protein means? It is an inflammatory proteinous substance present in plasma. Whenever your body is inflamed, there is a rise in the C-reactive protein. And coming to the D-dimer, when there is a formation of thrombi, this D-dimer levels will be increased because it is a fibrinolytic product. And there is an increase in the neutrophil to lymphocyte ratio, increased cytokinins and chemokinins, increased inflammation, which is called hyperinflammation or uncontrolled inflammation, which causes blood clots, and finally hypoxia. So we can conclude all these are elevated or observed in the progression of COVID-19 towards the advanced stage of infection. Hope you liked this session. Thank you one and all.